Welcome to Books. We bring you a variety of audiobook novels, ranging from thrilling suspense to sci-fi adventures. Whether you're commuting, enjoying some leisure time, or winding down before bedtime, Open Books is here to accompany you. On a beautiful afternoon, Buck and his owner's family were enjoying a pleasant time together. Buck ran around the garden, chasing butterflies and barking happily. His owner stroked his fur, smiling, saying, "Buck, you're such a happy little fellow." Buck wagged his tail excitedly, his eyes filled with joy and trust. However, at that moment, a sharp scream suddenly pierced the air nearby, pulling everyone back from their joyous atmosphere to reality. Startled, the owner quickly looked in the direction of the sound. A stranger emerged from behind the fence, his face grim, eyes gleaming with greed. He held a leash in one hand and gestured towards Buck's owner with the other. The owner, wary, asked, "Who are you? What do you want?" The stranger smirked oddly, responding without hesitation, "I'm here to buy this dog, and I assure you, you'll be satisfied with my offer." His voice carried both threat and provocation. Frowning, the owner positioned themselves between Buck and the stranger, firmly stating, "This is our family pet, and it's not for sale." The stranger's gaze turned cunning as he slowly approached the owner, threatening in a low voice, "You'd better hand over this dog obediently, or you'll regret it." His tone was filled with menace and certainty. A foreboding feeling gripped the owner's heart, yet they stood their ground, determined to protect Buck. Sensing the danger, the stranger suddenly grabbed Buck and fled, pulling on the leash. Buck let out panicked barks, attempting to break free, but the stranger's strength far exceeded his expectations. The owner hurriedly gave chase, but the stranger had already vanished into the streets, taking Buck with him, disappearing around the corner. "Buck!" The owner's heart wrenched with helplessness as they called out. Meanwhile, under the control of the stranger, Buck embarked on an unknown journey, his life taking a completely different direction. When Buck was taken away by a stranger, the harsh environment of the Arctic wilderness filled him with immense despair. The wind howled, snow drifted, and the cold air froze his fur, while unfamiliar sounds and an alien atmosphere left Buck feeling profoundly unsettled. The stranger stared at him with cold eyes, a hint of satisfaction playing at the corners of his mouth, as if this were the outcome he had always desired. "Your new home lies ahead, little dog," the stranger said to Buck coldly, as if declaring the inevitability of his future. Buck whimpered helplessly, trying to make sense of everything before him. Throughout his journey in the Arctic wilderness, Buck endured countless snowstorms and freezing nights, but he also gradually discovered the primal instincts hidden within himself. He learned how to traverse the snowfields, adapt to extreme cold, and hunt for food in the wild, becoming a true hunter. One day, when he discovered a pack of Arctic wolves nearby, a strange feeling welled up within him. Buck cast aside his fear and bravely approached the wolves, establishing a remarkable understanding with them. These wolves became his companions in the wilderness, supporting each other in the cold Arctic world. "You're no longer just a pet trapped in a cage, Buck. You are a part of this icy world, and your strength comes not only from yourself but also from this land," one of the Arctic wolves whispered to Buck, conveying a sense of acceptance. Buck's eyes sparkled with a newfound light as he gradually realized that the wilderness was not just a harsh and unforgiving world, but also a realm of endless opportunities and freedom. His way of life underwent a profound transformation, from captivity to untamed freedom. In the polar nights of the Arctic, as Buck sat alone gazing at the starry sky, he felt an inexplicable sense of freedom in his heart. In the wilderness, Buck experienced the power of life, with each snowflake seeming to tell him a captivating story. With time, Buck grew more cunning and adapted to the harsh Arctic environment. He seemed to embody the resilience of ice and the fiery wildness, becoming the true master of this polar domain. Each survival in the wilderness reshaped his perception of himself. "You're no longer the lost little dog you once were, Buck. You're the ruler of the Arctic, a true king of ice and snow, One of the Arctic wolves murmured in the wind, showing respect to Buck. A sense of pride and fulfillment surged within Buck's heart, as all these changes culminated in a new Buck, a legendary figure in the Arctic tundra. Thus, in this cold and beautiful land, Buck's legend began, as he became the master of the polar wilderness. As time passed, Buck encountered challenge after challenge in the Arctic wilderness. Each difficulty tested his will and courage, but Buck gradually realized that only by facing them head-on could he overcome the various obstacles in life. One day, a blizzard swept in, engulfing the entire wilderness and reducing visibility to its lowest. Buck felt immensely confused and fearful, but he knew that only by persisting could he find his way home. Suddenly, a deep roar echoed through the storm, and a massive polar bear appeared before Buck. Its figure loomed imposingly in the blizzard, with fierce determination gleaming in its eyes. "Pup, you're not welcome here. Leave now." The polar bear's voice brimmed with threat and provocation, seemingly trying to intimidate Buck. Fear filled Buck's heart, but at the same time, a firm resolve surged within him. He faced the polar bear fearlessly, standing tall with a steadfast gaze. "I won't leave. I'm going to find my way home." Buck responded firmly, his voice filled with determination and courage. The polar bear, surprised for a moment, quickly turned hostile again, swiping its massive claws towards Buck. Buck swiftly dodged, initiating a life-and-death struggle. Amidst the raging blizzard, Buck and the polar bear engaged in a fierce battle. Employing the skills and courage he had learned, Buck continually evaded the polar bear's attacks, searching for opportunities to strike back. Time seemed to stand still in this life-and-death struggle, every moment fraught with uncertainty and danger. But Buck didn't falter, composing a thrilling song of survival with his courage and perseverance. Finally, seizing a clever opportunity, Buck successfully defeated the polar bear, winning this decisive battle. He stood in the snow, panting, his eyes filled with pride and triumph. "You did it, pup. You've proven your courage and determination. You're no longer just a creature accepting fate passively. You're a true warrior of this wilderness." A voice came from the wind, the voice of the polar bear, now filled with admiration and respect. Buck understood that as long as he persisted, he could overcome any challenge. He was no longer a passive recipient of fate, but a brave soul actively confronting difficulties and challenges. Once, Buck found himself caught in a sudden blizzard in the Arctic wilderness. The fierce wind howled, and snowflakes swirled, enveloping the entire landscape in a vast expanse of white. Trapped amidst the ice and snow, Buck felt utterly helpless, desperately searching for any glimmer of hope. "I truly don't know what to do this time," Buck muttered softly, his eyes reflecting despair and resignation. He felt his body reaching its limits, unable to endure such torment any longer. Suddenly, a sound carried through the wind, a chorus of howls from a pack of Arctic wolves. They brought a sliver of hope to Buck. Perhaps they knew the way to safety. Buck hastily followed the sound of the Arctic wolves, traversing through one icy expanse after another, encountering more hardships and challenges along the way. Finally, when he reached a gorge, he discovered it was a dead end, trapped deep within its confines with no apparent way out. "Is this my fate? To be trapped in this ice and snow forever?" Buck felt despair and helplessness creeping in, yet a flicker of hope still shimmered in his eyes. Just then, an elderly Arctic wolf appeared before Buck, standing tall at the end of the gorge, a beacon of light amidst the darkness. "Young friend, you should never give up hope. Even in the face of adversity, you possess unwavering resilience and indomitable spirit." The elder wolf's voice resonated deeply, brimming with wisdom and strength. Inspired by these words, Buck felt a surge of determination coursing through him. He understood that no matter how daunting the challenges, giving up was never an option. With all his strength, he bravely forged ahead towards the end of the gorge. When Buck finally returned to nature, becoming a legend in the Arctic wilderness. As he stood in the wind and snow, gazing into the distance, he understood that this wilderness was his true home, and his destiny was now tightly intertwined with this land. Suddenly, a familiar voice came from behind him, his former owner. They stood beside Buck, their eyes filled with surprise and nostalgia. "Is this your new home?" The owner's voice carried a hint of reluctance and regret, never imagining Buck would become a legend in such a place. Buck turned to his owner, smiling. "This is my home. This wilderness is where I belong. Thank you for giving me this opportunity," Buck said. The owner, hearing this, had a moment of realization in their eyes. They silently patted Buck's head, indicating understanding and blessing. Buck bid farewell to his owner, embarking alone on his journey into the Arctic wilderness. If you enjoyed today's story, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends. Your support is the driving force behind our continuous creative journey. Look forward to the next episode, where more exciting stories await you at Open Books. Thank you all for tuning in, and until next time, goodbye.